Welcome back. Here to continue the conversation is Jack Watson and Talking Points analyst Thomas St. Hilaire. Both of you, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Now, Thomas, I'll direct this first question to you. Why exactly is President Trump so against the Iran nuclear deal? Why are the European leaders lobbying so hard for it?
Well, I'll start with Europe. I mean, Europe right now sees this. These are restraints that are already in place. Going with the current deal at the moment provides a certain sense of stability for a lot of these leaders. If you're President Trump right now, I mean, he's vocalized over and over again that he believes that we're really not doing enough, that we need to toughen the restraints. We saw Emmanuel Macron came and met with President Trump this past week to discuss what are some possible restraints that we can add on to the Iran nuclear deal, and that we'll see how that folds out.
And when you look at that tense rhetoric coming from the Trump administration, Jack, how are the Iranians reacting?
Well, Iran is certainly not pleased with the instability in the rhetoric of the United States. They have, foreign leaders from Iran have vocally criticized the United States for this. They say that the United States is getting too much and not giving enough, and that in a deal you need to give some and take some, and that the president wants to take too much from Iran. Now, what the deal does right now is it already restricts their capabilities for nuclear weapons production by restricting the amount of the amount that they can enrich uranium and what the deal does not contain, which is what the president has really been talking about a lot, is the fact that it doesn't really address Iran's missile program. They can still produce missiles under this deal, which is something that the president and several conservatives are very wary about.
Well, to be clear, this is also just not about these two countries. I mean, we're seeing the global ramifications that it's having. We're seeing Europe obviously getting involved. Even countries like North Korea. How will this affect talks upcoming with North Korea? Well, this perhaps paint President Trump in a way that, maybe he's not as diplomatic. I mean, this unfolds in a way where it's going to have an impact, not just between these two countries, but on Europe, on Asia, on countries around the globe.
And how much sway do we think the European leaders can have, or is this decision really ultimately up to President Trump?
Mike, something very important to pay attention to when it comes to this specific negotiation is the relationship between Emmanuel Macron, the French president, and President Donald Trump. They both rose to political power. These are Macron's words. They both rose to political power in unconventional ways. Even though they don't always politically align with France being a little more left-wing than the United States generally in these general elections to which they were both elected to power, they can both sort of come to common ground on certain things. And I think that Macron is going to try to use that to his advantage in the next coming days. And I think Merkel is going to try to do that, call upon that personal relationship as well.
All right.
Well, I think the other thing...
We're going to have to leave it there, unfortunately. Thomas and Jack, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.